Hi, my name is Liz Wilson, and I am going to read you The Very Noisy Night by Diana Hendry and illustrated by Jane Chapman. The Very Noisy Night. It was the middle of the night, and Big Mouse was fast asleep on his big bed. Little Mouse was wide awake in his little bed. Big Mouse, called Little Mouse. I can hear something rushing around the house, huffing and puffing. Big Mouse opened one eye and lifted one ear. It's only the wind, he said. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. There isn't room. And he turned over and went back to sleep. Does it look like Little Mouse is going to sleep? Little Mouse lay listening to the wind. Then suddenly, between a huff and a puff, came a tap, 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 tap. Little Mouse climbed out of bed, opened the front door just a crack, and peeped out. Whoosh went the wind, but there was no one outside. Big Mouse, called Little Mouse. I can hear someone tapping. I think there's a burglar on the roof. He was brave to open the door. Big Mouse got out of bed and opened the bedroom curtains. Look, he said, it's only a branch tapping on the window. Go back to sleep. Can I come in your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. You wriggle. Little Mouse lay in his own bed and listened to the wind, huffing and puffing, and the branch tap-tapping, and someone calling, hoo, 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 hoo. Little Mouse climbed out of bed again. This time he looked under it. Then he looked in the wardrobe, and feeling very frightened, he yelled, Big Mouse, I think there's a ghost in the room, and it's looking for someone. It keeps calling, hoo, 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 hoo. Big Mouse sighed, sat up, and listened. It's only an owl, he said. It stays up all night, like you. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. Your paws are always cold. Big Mouse pulled the blanket over his head and went back to sleep, and Little Mouse got back into his own bed. Little Mouse sat up and listened to the wind, huffing and puffing, and the branch tap-tapping, and the owl hooting. But, shh, what was that? Big Mouse, he called. I think it's raining inside. And Little Mouse jumped out of bed and fetched his umbrella. Drip, 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 drip. What do you think it was? Big Mouse got out of bed too. He opened the front door to see if it was raining at all. Then Big Mouse went over to the kitchen and turned off the dripping faucet. He gently pried the umbrella out of Little Mouse's paws and put it away. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, you're nice and snug in your own bed, said Big Mouse, taking him back to the bedroom. Little Mouse lay and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, the branch tap-tapping, and the owl hooting. And just as he was beginning to feel very sleepy indeed, he heard, wee, wee, Big Mouse, he called. You're snoring. Do you have anybody in your house that snores? Can get pretty loud. Wearily, Big Mouse got up. He put his earmuffs on Little Mouse's ears. He put a paper clip on his own nose, and he went back to bed. See his paper clip on his nose? Little Mouse lay and listened to nothing. It was very, very, very quiet. He couldn't hear the wind huffing or the branch tapping or the owl hooting or Big Mouse snoring. It was so quiet that Little Mouse felt he was all alone in the world. He took off the earmuffs, he got out of bed and pulled the paper clip off Big Mouse's nose. Big Mouse, he cried, I'm lonely. Big Mouse flung back his blanket. Better come into my bed, he said. So Little Mouse hopped in, and his paws were cold, and he needed just a little wriggle before he fell fast asleep. Big Mouse lay and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, and the branch tap-tapping, and the owl hooting, and Little Mouse snuffing. And very soon he heard the birds waking up, but neither of them heard the alarm clock. Why do you think they didn't hear the alarm clock? Because they were both fast asleep. They finally both got to sleep. The end. I hope you enjoyed the book. I wanted to ask, do you ever get scared at night? Are you afraid of noises that you hear? What do you do? Do you have a favorite stuffed animal that you like to sleep with? Or do you wake up a brother or sister or your parents? If you were Big Mouse, what would you have done the first time that Little Mouse asked to get in your bed? I hope you all have a quiet night and keep on reading.